What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another solo leveling Arise video. It's your boy Payne. Happy Sunday, everybody. Happy Sunday. I hope you guys are all having a fantastic weekend. I want to do a video that needs to be done again, and I think this is a very important one, whether you are a veteran player, a new player, a player who just started a couple days ago, someone who's been playing this game for a long time. I want to redo this because I think this is going to help everybody from top to bottom. I'm going to move myself on the side here. We're going to talk about the top 10 things you should do as a player to increase your power, increase your account, overall just be better at the game. Okay, so first off, let's talk about the number one thing. And I'm going to do this because I think it's important. That is, go to a content creator and support them. Hopefully me, click on that support button, get that in there. The reason why this is important, number one, is you get to communicate with your content creator, be part of a bigger community. And then number two, of course, get yourself codes for free when we send them out. You guys can see here I'm almost at 7,000. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to my top 10, Lucci, couple NID, Zero, Mega Cartel. You're here. I see you, brother. Thank you so much. He actually just DM'd me recently. And then obviously everyone else in between. Go click that support button. You will get yourself codes, and those codes are always going to be essence stones and other things you can use for free. So that's the number one thing. Go support your content creator. Get in there. Help us help you, and get yourself set up to get yourself a lot of codes. All right. Now let's talk about the very simple things. When you start the game, what's the most important thing you can do? So if you are a brand new player, you guys know I already started a brand new free-to-play account, which I'll be doing a giveaway on. The first thing you want to do, guys, is work through story mode. Everybody knows this. Story mode is super easy to do. You can actually complete the entire story mode within about the 12 to 10 day span. That's from normal to hard to reverse. This is where you want to focus. Couple things to remember. As you are doing story mode, you are going to get yourself an obscene amount of prizes. So when you finish normal mode, not only are you going to get 7 tickets per clear, and when there's non-level ones, you only get 5. But you guys can see here, these ones will give you 5 and then 2. Try to complete every single trophy. Things to remember when you're doing story mode. Look at the 3 battle missions. One little tip: anytime you do story modes that do take damage less than, etc. So the bottom third one here, if you bring a shield unit, when you get hit, it does not count because you're not taking any damage. So that is going to be a tip that you should guys remember. So Gunhee, Thomas, Emma, Sa, etc. Whoever you want to use, if they have a shield, you will complete this with a lot easier time. So make sure you do that, get it done. Also, bring in the proper elements to complete story mode. It's super easy, super fun, very simple. Once you've completed all of story mode, collect all of your normal prizes, and then move on to the hard version. Same thing applies, and then move on to reverse. Now, for those who are new players, normal and hard mode will give you player EXP, so you will actually level up your account. Hard gives double, almost a triple amounts. Normal gives you just a regular amount. Reverse gives you 0 EXP. All right, keep that in mind. You will not level off of reverse, but what you will get from reverse is more resources. So a lot more gold, a lot more shadow army stuff, etc. So reverse is actually great for resource management. Remember, all 3 of them will require you to collect. So just so you guys are aware, reverse mode gives you guys the rate up tickets. Normal mode gives you the custom standard tickets, okay, just these black tickets right here. And then hard mode gives you weapon tickets, okay? So if you are looking to collect a certain item, get yourself the tickets based on what you complete. So those are the very important things. So that's the first thing everyone should focus on. Complete story mode. Super easy, okay? Number two. Your next focus is going to be setting up a proper draw list, all right? First off, everyone who's joining now or has been joining should be pushing for Thomas Andre to A5. You'll have more than enough resources to do this. Push him to Advanced 5, get your advanced dupes. Do you go for Gunhee? I would say not right now. Focus on getting him through the custom banner. So your custom banner should be made up of 3 units or 2 units and 2 weapons. I recommend 3 units and 1 weapon. Your weapon list and your unit list should look like this. It should be Gunhee, Mirai, and Cha. That's my opinion. You can mix it up however you want. You can put a support in there. You can put Min in there or Meilin in there if you want. So those are the 2 best supports. Even Hansimi works really well too. So you can put a support in there if you don't want Cha, but I recommend going for Cha. And then your weapon of choice should always be the plum sword. Okay, so your plum sword here should always be the weapon of choice. So put that in there and focus on getting that. The reason why the plum sword is a universal buffing weapon, and you want to get this to A5 as soon as possible. And then from there, you want to get to the Moon Shadows next. And then from there, you want to go for DKD if you possibly can, or the Grimoire, which is also another universal weapon. So So those are going to be your choices, okay? Best choices to go with. Now, this is my free-to-play account. You guys can see as a free-to-play player, you have the ability to do quite well in this game without spending a dime. So make sure you focus on it. Now, on this part here, on the weapon custom banner, this is why I suggest putting only one weapon in the regular custom banner, because the weapon custom banner, you get the choice of 2 more. I would put in, again, Plum Sword duplicated, and then the Moonshadow Daggers here, and try to get those as soon as you possibly can. All right, now from a skill perspective, for SJW, here's what you're aiming for. Your number 1 skill to focus on is simply this. It's going to be called Magnifying Slashes under the Sonic Stream, okay? So if you ever get a box where it allows you to choose a skill, you always want to aim for Magnifying Slashes under Sonic Stream. Every single person should be getting this skill. This is the number 1 skill. If you're going to choose a break skill, you want to either go for Dispersion under Dagger Rush here, which gives you Almighty Break, plus gives you a ton of dart damage, which again, feeds off the Plum Sword and feeds off of the Moonshadow Daggers, or you want to go for the Vacuum Wave, okay, which is going to be another Almighty Break, but also increases all your damage by 10% for 12 seconds. So very, very important to use those ones. Another very good one here is going to be Electric Shock under the Dagger Toss. That's another really good one, and there's a couple other very popular ones, but those are the 3 I would focus on more than anything else. Try to get those under your belt. Now, speaking of SJW, you're going to have a lot of different things to do with him. Your main focus here is going to be on stats, okay? Your stats should always be, in the beginning, strength. Just push strength all the way across the board. Essentially, eventually when you get to end game content, precision is going to play a little bit of a role, and you're going to be using it under gems. We'll talk more about gems very shortly, but for now, go all strength, push as much damage as you possibly can. He gets to equip 2 weapons. Ideally, you want to put in 2 weapons that are elementally focused, or anything with a Plum Sword. Anything with Plum Sword pretty much works. Plum Sword is going to be your bread and butter for damage increase pretty much across the board. Artifacts. All right, so the first sets you want to focus on, all right, as soon as you can, because you'll get this fairly fast, is you want to go 4-piece Curse set, 4-piece Expert set, okay? If you can't get the 4-piece Expert set, your next best bet is to go 4-piece Champion on the Field, or 4-piece Obsidian, or full 8-piece Curse. Your choice. Now, as for stats for SJW, attack percentage works better for him than flat attack, but there is a stipulation to that. If you get flat attack here as the main and you have to choose it, and you have attack percentage here, if you can do 3 times attack percentage as a substat, if you get lucky enough, it actually works out better than having attack percentage as your main, because normally you get more percentage from the substat. If you get +4, that's even better. Prime example is right here, right? Look at that, 29% for attack +4. So much better than 21%, right? So worked out much better for me in that regard. So this is why it's better to do that, but it's a lot more RNG related, all right? Other things to notice. Flat additional defense works better than percentage additional defense. Flat HP sometimes will work better depending on how much HP you have. The moment you hit a certain threshold, HP percentage becomes better, all right? So this is the set you ideally want to go with. This will push you pretty much till end game. You don't have to worry about it. Focus on that. Now, eventually, you're going to also unlock cores. So for your cores, you want to go for attack percentage for him or flat attack. Doesn't matter which one. They're both going to work really well. Early on, additional attack is much better. So you want to go additional attack first. I would push crit hit damage and then also put crit hit rate as your main ones. Damage increase is not a necessity. I just have it on there right now just because I don't have a better one. But the moment I get crit hit rate or crit hit damage, I'm going to push for more. Now, speaking of crit hit, all right, let's talk about that real quick. There is something called a cap. So you guys can see here I have 7,593. 50% from a stat perspective is the cap. In order to hit 50%, you need 4,200. You want to overcap that. The reason why is the more crit you have, the monsters all have something called crit resist. If you click on this, it'll tell you right there. The chance to inflict crit hit damage, the required stat value increases depending on the target's level. So the higher the level of the target, the more resistance they have, the more crit rate you want, which will in turn give you a chance to crit more often. That also works for crit hit damage. You want more crit hit damage because the higher the level of the monster, the lower your crit hit damage actually is. So right now it says 205%. That's actually not true. When I fight a higher level monster, my crit can go down all the way to 120%, and it doesn't reflect on the damage sheet, okay? So your most important stats here are going to be attack, precision, crit hit rate, crit hit damage, and then damage increase, all right? You want to focus on those ones. Those are going to help you build your SJW the best way. So your cores, you want to reflect ideally off of crit hit rate, crit hit damage, and then for here you want to go additional attack early on until you get very far into end game. Then you go attack percentage, additional defense, and then additional HP. All right, those are your cores. Now, how do you get cores? Well, cores are going to come from WOBL, which is aka known as Workshop of Brilliant Light. At a certain point, about 3 days into the game, you're going to be able to fight Vulcan. Start doing easy mode, move on to normal, move on to hard. You should be able to complete these, I'd say roughly about 20 days in, at least hard mode, okay? And that will give you cores. Cores will increase your power substantially. All right, so make sure you do that. But the moment you can move on to Baron and do normal mode Baron, don't do hard Vulcan anymore. Go to normal Baron and focus here, because he actually drops the 3rd slot, which is your support ones, which you cannot get in Vulcan normal mode. So very, very important to remember that, okay? So cores are a major part of this game. So make sure you focus on them and get those early. All right, Army of Shadows. Let's do this one. This is a big one. So you're going to unlock Igris first. Igris will be your main shadow for the majority of the game. He will be. There's no ifs or buts about it. He is. Your sub shadows will always be the following: Iron, okay, and always Cerberus. Those are always the main 2 shadows you want to focus on as your sub shadows. The reason why Iron does defense down, in case you're using especially your hunters, because they'll benefit from that. And then Cerberus always gives you 5% damage increase throughout the whole fight with combustion. Those 2 are the best ones. No ifs or buts about it. The only time you change Igris is for Big Rock. Big Rock is actually incredible. One of the best shadows out there. Gives you 11% more basic skill damage and also skill damage. That works for SJW. Also works for Hunter. So keep that in mind. So Big Rock is going to be your next big one that you want to focus on. So he will be a massive part of your team and help you grow in your account. So those are the main ones. Tusk is also a notably good one because he does do more core damage. So if you're an Alicia user, he will provide you the most amount of damage for her, or anyone who really relies on core. And Kaisel is also pretty good. Gives you ultimate damage, not a necessity, and also movement speed, but not a necessity, but still a really good option. But the 3 I mentioned, Igris, Iron, and Cerberus, those are the main 3. Focus on those, you're fine. Now, remember, the shadow that is going to be in the first Shadow Authority section is going to be the shadow that gets the buff. So most of the time, you want Igris to be your Shadow Authority, or Big Rock to be Shadow Authority, to get the bonuses from them, and then the rest do their skills, and that's what matters most, the defense down and the combustion. All right? Now, Hunter artifacts. All right, so this is important, remember. So unlike SJW, artifacts are going to matter for Hunters a little bit differently, because they feed better off of flat stats. So additional attack rather than attack percentage, additional defense, additional HP, crit rate still important, crit damage still important, of course, and damage increase. Okay, all that works the same. The main thing to remember as a new player, though, you need to know who scales off of what. And the way to tell is you go to a skill, you'll see the damage of a unit will scale off of a certain stat. So Gunhe, for example, scales off of defense. So that is his attack. That is his attack stat. Everything he feeds off of is off of defense. Attack does not matter for him. So you can put as much attack on him, it will not increase his attack. Defense is what matters. Mira, on the other hand, does scale off of attack. So you want to do attack stat for him, right? So you guys can see, for example, for my gun, his attack is only 10,000, but his defense is at 23k. So all of the attack comes from the defense. So everything you want to put goes towards that. Mirai, on the other hand, for example, is a support. All of her heals and all of her skills come from HP. So this is where you tell. If you want to know who scales off of what, click on the actual skills page and you'll see exactly what they scale off of. No unit right now in the game scales off of 2 stats, so don't worry, it will not confuse you. All right, now in terms of artifacts, if you want to know what to equip on a character or the recommended stats, click on this recommended stat option. It'll tell you exactly what you should be looking for. HP, healing given, critical hit rate. So that applies to everybody. Click on that, it'll tell you exactly what you should be aiming for. And this is absolutely true. So focus on this. They've done a great job on doing this. If you're looking at what artifacts you should equip on a character, if you go to the artifact section, you can actually click recommended sets. It'll tell you exactly the sets you want to focus on. So these are the accessories. If we go to the section right here for his armor, and you go change here, it'll actually tell you again what to focus on. All right, and these are very, very accurate, by the way. If you watch any of my testing, these are the 3 sets that I tested. The other two items were the ones I tested. They work really, really well. So it's all there for you. If you don't want to look at this, that's fine. I have a tier list for artifacts, so you guys can check that video out instead. Okay, a couple things to note. SSR weapons, how do you get them? You can get them from events. So for example, when the unit is the raid up unit, there's an event usually that follows that allows you to get yourself the weapon for that unit through an event. So in this case, Thomas Andre and Gunhe are the 2 different weapons. As you do this event, as you summon for them, as you do specific missions, it allows you to get these draws. So get these through here first, okay? Secondly, if you want to craft them, you will have to get yourself some of these red tickets right here, called the Hunter, where is this? Sorry guys, right here. Okay, right here, called the Hunter Exclusive Weapon Designs. You can get them through codes from supporting us, through the game events, and other ways of doing it, such as salvaging, okay? Now, Crafting here is very important. Should you push weapons to A5? Absolutely. Absolutely you should. Especially for your DPS and supports, they should be pushed to A5. So this is where you get weapons after you've done events. Now for SJW, it's a little different. SJW gets weapons through 2 different ways now. It used to be only one. One way, of course, now is through getting these tickets right here, called the Special Players Weapon Design Tickets. You can get them from the shop, not purchasing. You can purchase them, but you can get them from the shop from summoning, and you'll get enough tokens eventually to procure them right here. 250, you see that right there. And there's other ways right now as well too, through events, all right? And right now, simulation's the other option. Simulation also drops it. When you get 4 of these, you can craft the newest, keep that in mind, the newest weapon. So hold on to your tickets to get ready to go for the weapon you want for. Now, SJW weapons work a little bit differently, all right? SJW weapons have specific things you need to know about. So for example, the scythe, right? If I go to the skill section, first off, SJW weapons can be skilled up. Hunter weapons cannot be. So a lot of your focus will be on getting these skills up for SJW. They will require the same level of player scrolls as your regular skills do. It's very, very vital, guys, that you do get your skills up. Another thing to remember about SJW weapons, they all have different ways to work. So for example, for DKD here, you can cast this skill twice at A1. Doesn't require you to do anything but make sure you face the enemy. But if you look at something like the scythe, you see this little icon right here? That means you have to hold the skill down. If you hold the skill down, it actually does more attacks, all right? Look at it right there. That's a full attack right there. If you don't hold it down, it does half of the attacks and you do half the damage. All right, there's another one here. Let's look at this one, for example, right? This here has a counter icon. This means that this weapon has a chance to counter. You can read it or you can see the icon. If you use this weapon, you ideally want to do the counter skill when the enemy is about to attack you. So important to note that, okay? So there's certain things you need to know about certain weapons. Some freeze, some burn, some have different skills. This one requires you to dash at a certain time to do a skill to do more damage, etc. So make sure you pay attention to SJW's weapons and what they do and focus on them because they're going to make a massive difference if you use them correctly. All right, now let's talk a little bit about the shop. As a free-to-play player or pay-to-win player, it doesn't matter. I have a shop guide for you pay-to-win players, so definitely look at it. For free-to-play players, you're going to have red dots, collect all the free stuff. Your main shop you're going to focus on is the Celebration Coin Shop. You can get yourself rate-up tickets here. You can get yourself custom tickets. You can get yourself red tickets. What I recommend personally is go for the rate-up tickets mostly, and then get yourself these special player design tickets for over time. Okay, those are important. Weapon material exchange, you're going to collect the red tickets mostly from here, plus your times, okay? This stuff here. Right there. Okay, so those marker times. Mana Crystal Exchange, do your gates. We'll talk more about gates in a second. Proof is strong. Obviously, you'll get to this point eventually. You want to save up for the costume, ideally, if you want that, or other things along the way. Then Battlefield of Time. These are going to be resources you'll get from doing Battlefield of Time. Again, we'll talk more about that in a different video. All right, now, modes. What do you focus on? So first off, after story mode, you're gonna unlock Hunter Archive. You're gonna get 10 keys to start with, and then you're gonna start getting 4 keys a day or 3 keys a day. Do every single one of these. This is a gold mine for Essence Stones. Every single one of these guys will give you a ton of Essence Stones, plus you get to do the special libraries for them, right? And the special libraries gives you additional prizes. Go into this, never leave a key untouched. Complete this. It gives you rate-up tickets, gives you resources, gives you Essence Stones, and at the end you get a costume. All right, so very important to complete this and focus on this all the time. Do not leave these. Little tip, if you have the units here, you'll get more points. If you have the weapons for those units, you'll get even more points, okay? Very important to remember that. Super easy to do. Focus on this. It'll boost your account a lot, okay? Especially for Essence Stones. Battlefield of Time. Oh, Battlefield Trial, sorry. This is a very, very important one, guys. Every 20 days, you're going to have yourself a trial challenge, which gives you a shitload of Essence Stones and resources. Do this every single time. Push it to the limit. You get yourself so many Essence Stones. But the original Battlefield Trials will also give you a ton of Essence Stones, plus custom keys, plus other things along the way. So a lot of your focus is going to be here, and you want to build up your trophies. Now, the reason you want to build up your trophies is every single week, you're going to get yourself a score, a ranking, which allows you to get yourself more Essence Stones. So you can see here, I'm second place on my server. Damn it, I was first and I get second again. I get myself 1,150 Essence Stones every week just by completing the game and doing it as much as I possibly can. So very, very important, guys, to push this as much as possible. Okay, so this is a big part of the game. Get it done. Now, all of your accessories and all your armor are going to come from 2 different places. Encore missions, it's only hunters. This is where you get your armor. Remember, each boss drops different things. First boss, Kaisel, this week will drop gloves and boots, and this Luxus or whatever his name is going to drop helmet and chest. So make sure you look at who you are planning to use and what armor you're looking for. Now, the further the tiers you go, the higher level the armor will be. Okay, so eventually you'll get yourself I think 11 starts at there you go. 11 starts dropping purple curse, purple greed, and purple blessings. Try to push to 12 if you can to start getting legendary ones and push these. Remember, you can use multiple keys as free to play, up to 5 per turn. And now use share keys, so it's important. Also, go back, get 3 trophies. Every single time. The benefit is, number 1, you'll do 100% more damage on the boss for that level, and number 2, you get more trophies towards your essence stones, and number 3, you get more essence stones when you get trophies. So important. And then accessories, of course, will be SJW related, and right now these are the bosses there. Try to push these as much as you can, get what you're looking for, okay? Now, Power of Destruction used to be a daily thing. Now it's a weekly thing. Focus on this. It gives you a shitload of prizes. Every week you'll get yourself a ton of essence stones and an ability to get yourself a ton of resources. Okay, so you can see here, if you're first place, for example, right, you'll get yourself a chance to get custom tickets, weapon tickets, red tickets, etc. So very, very important. Do this once a week. Focus on the 2 elements. Those are going to do the most amount of damage. I'll do a brand new POD video for you guys sometime this week for free to play. Okay, as soon as you possibly can, get into a guild. Super, super important. Guild bosses, number 1. Ton of guides out there, go check a look. But the beauty of guilds, number 1, you get to be reaping a lot of benefits for just logging in, and number 2, you have guild missions that give you a lot of stuff, and number 3, as your guild levels up, you have the chance to get yourself free SSR weapon with the Demon Knight Spear, and also weapon custom draw tickets up to 5 a week, which you can then obviously use to get yourself some weapons. So join a guild as soon as possible. All right, now let's talk about gates. One of the earlier things you're going to start on, okay? So gates do 3 different things. Give you gold, give you resources, and gives you marks of times, plus armor chips and weapon chips. What you want to focus on with this early on is you want to build up your gold. So gold gates, and you can see right here, I'll show you a couple. Let's see if I have one. I don't have one here yet. There we go. Gold gates are going to look like this, okay? Anything that's A rank to S rank will also, when you mine them, because there's a mining section after you complete them, you always want to mine after, that will drop essence stones. A and S rank ones will always drop essence stones. Red ones will give you the best resources in terms of skill chips, skill ruins, marks of time, no marks of time actually in this one. I think it's like army stuff, shadow of army stuff, etc. Right? So these ones you want to at least do 1 or 2 a week, and then the blue ones will always drop you the most amount of enhancements, whether it's for weapon or armor. So blues you want to do all the time if you want specifically armor and weapon enhancement chips. Red ones are going to give you the most skill scrolls and rune fragments, and then gold is going to come from these, and the purple ones have a chance to give you, let me show you guys real quick. Is there a purple one here? No, let me just quickly find the purple one. There we go. Purple ones here will give you the opportunity to get yourself some mining crystals, plus these precision designs, which allow you to level up and increase your weapons. Okay, so very, very important. Those are how gates work. When you are completed, make sure you go to the gate mining, complete these. As you do more gate mining, you'll level them up and you'll have more slots open. You can purchase an additional slot here for 2,000 if you want to. I personally do not bother with it because it forces me to log in, but that's up to you if you want to have an extra mining slot. Okay, sorry guys, my nose is still running. I'm trying my best here to do this. All right, now once you finish all of that and you've completed it, your challenges. If you're a brand new player, especially, focus on your challenges. Challenges is going to give you a lot of free currency, a lot of resources, and a free SSR weapon along the way, and a plethora of other things. So complete these, follow them to a T, and try to get them done. All right, so those are very important as well too. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Bonds, oh yeah, very, very important. Bonds, level up your characters. You can get a ton of gold in this game, and bonds is a lucrative way to get yourself a ton of essence stones and free tickets. You guys can see here, when you level up an SSR, it'll give you 150 essence stones. Level 50, you get yourself some custom tickets. Level 70, more custom tickets. And then as you advance them, more things will come along the way. SRs do even more. In terms of the way they level up, look at this. Like an SR, you can get yourself 200 essence stones, some gold, some 3 custom tickets along the way. So it is absolutely relevant to level up your characters, even if you don't plan to use them. And on top of that, they also affect your idol. So when you click on your idol, you see there's an activity fund tier. If you click on that, it's based off of the amount of level of characters that you have. So the more characters you level up, the more the tier, the more idol rewards you get along the way. So it's actually important, guys, to go in here, look at your characters and say, okay, you know what? I haven't leveled this character up in a minute, so I'm going to get this guy to level 90, for example, right? So I'm going to push this to 90. It'll, number 1, increase my idol, and number 2, if I go back into the idol section now, sorry, not the idol section, the bond section, you guys can see here now, I get myself these 50 rune fragments, right? So that's how that works. Now, last thing I think that's important to talk about as well too, of course, outside of doing your dailies, which you should always do, dailies, weeklies, complete them, is the events tab. The events tab is super, super important, guys. There are always a ton of events going on. Make sure you always look at the missions, complete every mission you possibly can to get as much benefits from these rewards as you can, and make sure that you focus on them. I always do videos on these, so event tab is your number one focus. There's ways to prepare for event tabs. I'll always cover them in my videos, but it's super, super important, guys, to complete every event before they've completed it, because usually the prizes are absolutely worth it. All right, guys, that's it. Those are the things you should be focusing on when you start this game. Those are the top things that everyone should be doing. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope it was informative. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.